Yeah, thank you so much for finding the time. I'm so thrilled to jump into actual interview with you. And I wanted to start off with what you said to us in the written interview, where you said that art has made me question my existence in different bodies of work. Since I was a child, I've always been curious about the importance of understanding where does everything comes from. So my question is, did you find so far, or what are your thoughts on where everything is coming from?
I think that we will never know. The answer that I got into this, I think the last time we had this interview was in 2021, if I'm
Yeah.
not like that. So it has been almost 3 years or 3 years. And honestly, the answer that I have is that we will never understand, at least for now, what's going on and why are we actually here. And there's many reasons why we shouldn't know. So at the end of the day, I think that the Earth, the planet, we call it Earth. It's a way to interpret this place or where are we from. Honestly, I love these questions. These questions, I make this question to myself every day. There's not a single day that I don't remember that we're gonna die. That our time here is limited, that we don't know what exactly we're doing here. And there's no human, there's no religion, there's no scientist that can explain why and for what, and what are we doing in this place we call Earth. But as I was telling you, sorry, I remember the answer. As I was telling you, I think that there are many reasons why we shouldn't know. And I think that the Earth, it's a school planet. I think we come here to learn, to experience, to feel, to contemplate nature. It's fascinating. Life doesn't come from the outside to the inside. It comes from inside to outside. So I think in the last 3 years, I've been integrating all these responses and answers that I gave you in the last interview. And I think it has been a fascinating journey. Just knowing that we actually don't know anything, it's such a, release of tension. And it's we humans are so conditioned to try to interpret everything. And oh yeah, it's so sad and so disappointing to see so many individuals trying to say that a religion is how you have to be, or there's no, your opinion is something that you have to carry with yourself.
Yeah.
There's something called reality, but reality is it doesn't exist. I think reality is something that each one of us interprets in a different way. So it's just understanding that. And I think it's powerful to be humble enough to just I think appreciate and be thankful and grateful of why are we here. Even if we are just a miracle in the whole universe, that I do think that there's something much more complex. The only thing I can tell you to just finish this question is that I think that everything is connected. And the only proof that I can give to you is this casualty in the design of the neuronal web, in the roots of the plants, on the hyphae from mycelium from fungi, on the water traces, on the galaxies web. It's the same design. There's no what the fuck, what else do we want as a proof that everything is connected? It's a fractal. It's I don't think it's a coincidence. You see trees, you see brains, it's the same thing. So I do think that we live in a fractal universe and that everything is connected. So yeah.
I love it. No, I think it's a very humbling way of thinking about things that first, like we don't know anything in a way, and then also that everything is connected, so nothing happens for an accident. And what would you say shaped your vision in this direction? Was it the culture that you were coming from, maybe like a family, the books that you read? What was it?
I think that um, it's gonna sound a little bit crazy, but that's how I place in my mind. So I I like the idea of perceiving myself as an alien, like a being, as many others that come to this human experience to work in many things, but also to help people to expand consciousness.
Mm.
So what I was trying to say with the alien thing, that it's just a story that I tell myself, is that I never empathize with many human designs. And designs, I'm not telling you in just aesthetic or like a material or an object. I'm telling you about the ideas, about how social norms works, about how countries, basically how we perceive the world human. It has a design, but the only thing that has helped me to really get into this perspective is to question why we have to do and act in a specific ways. For example, one of the things that made me feel like an outsider was like my sexuality in my culture. For example, in Mexico specifically, Mexico has this really strong relationship, as many other countries, with religion. And it's sad, but religion, the humans using religion have been using to control, to spread hate, to repress, to, like, there's beautiful things, of course, but there's also these horrible things. And I personally suffered a lot in the process where I was being a child, because I was never accepted. I was never like, part of it. I always felt like there was something wrong, that, I grew up believing that. So when I get into a point when I was an adult, well, semi-adult, I was a teenager, I was 17, I wanted to kill myself. I love to talk about suicide every time that I can, because I make people conscious about it. Yes, there are people that are killing themselves, because the design of the world or the design of their societies, their communities, is not proper, or, for everyone. And that's the problem, because we humans are not the same. Each one of us is unique. Each one of us is special. Each one of us has a different, perspective. So surrounded by a world that teach you how you have to be and how you have to express and learn, like all these social cultural conditionings, it made me feel like I was in a box, and like I didn't want to be there. So trying to work on not wanting to kill myself made me connect with these ideas and philosophies of understanding that there's so much, there's so many things that we, I mean, it's kind of repetitive, but we don't understand. And actually, that's how it has to be. So I just think that one of the main things that has helped me also to connect with this is contemplating nature. Like, I think that, I mean, I cannot tell you that, oh yeah, I'm a nature guy and everything that I do is sustainable. No, like, I'm part of the problem, but I'm part of the solution too, as we all, there's not such things as is good or bad. It's the whole. I love the Yin Yang philosophy, because it teaches you that it's a whole. Each one of us has their own light, and yes, we can be lovable, but we also have a shitty side. We have a shadow self. So when you integrate that and you operate with everything as a whole, it's much more like, at least easier to go through life. It doesn't mean that you have to go that way, but
I really get like what you're saying about it. And I love that you're sharing, your less vulnerable part of your journey where you were in a really dark place and talk so
yeah.
openly about it. So I was wondering, when you were like finding a way out of this state, was art part of this journey, or art wasn't in the picture back then?
Honestly, not like my family, for example. I would love to tell you different, but my family was never close to art or design. I come from a background where my mom was a single mother, so she had to survive the world. She had two kids, like she had like to, you know, play the game, like, blah 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 blah. Like, so I think that I always unconsciously was connected to art, or at least expression, like emotional expression, because I used to draw when I was in my deepest and like in the most negative era of my life. It was when I was 17, 18, and I was drawing a lot to channel things, and I was drawing trees, I was drawing branches, I was drawing, I mean, that's super crazy, but like hanging people, you know, I mean, I'm like, I don't know, there was something with suicide that it was like really constant, so I express it in ways that make me feel less intense everything that was going on in my mind. uh, but I did an ayahuasca experience when I was 2020, in 2020, when I was, 21 years old.
Mhm.
Uh, the approach of why I did this experience was because I was looking for answers. Why the fuck am I thinking in suicide? You know, I've been having this for years. There's no such a traumatic event that will tell me, you know, like, oh, okay, you know, you suffered this, you're blah, blah. Like, no, it didn't make sense. I'm like, I just don't want to be part of this. Like, I don't like human world. I don't like how this work. Like, you know, I had a strong opinion in more in a negative way. I was looking for answers. I did the ayahuasca experience, and it was like crazy. Like, it was, I've never felt so much fear, anxiety, like crisis in one night. It was crazy. But honestly, I think that's what I needed to experience to fucking wake up in a way. uh, I'm so grateful of having that experience. Even though it's one of the the hardest things that I've ever done. For me, was a before and after. And after this experience, that it made me connect in a deep level with my system of beliefs, understanding what am I, why am I here, like what is an I, you know.
Mhm.
I question everything, you know, like why do I have to have a name? Why do I have to have an identity? Like, I'm teach to be this way. You know, it was like super interesting to start to deconstruct
Mhm.
everything teach and talk. Sorry, and my English.
No, it's perfect.
uh, but after this experience and starting to questioning, it was so automatically for me. Like, I felt an automatic a connection to craft, to do things, to express, to like I just felt the fire. Like I needed to go out there in the world and start to literally kick rocks and like start to do things. And it was a great motivation. Let's say that the sculpting stone and all these things that I'm also doing now, it complemented my therapeutic process of understanding why did I felt the way I felt in the ayahuasca experience, and how I felt in the last 21 years, you know, like I don't know, art has been an amazing therapeutic method to understand my thoughts, and also not just mine but others, and that's freaking amazing. It's so powerful. Like, art, you cannot define art. I don't think, like, if true art cannot be defined, because if it has a definition, there is not that, it's not art. That's my way to see it. It's something that humans can't, and we don't have like the ability, let's say, or the full knowledge to fully like interpret it, you know.
Mhm.
And that for me, it's powerful. It's like I see the art as the universe, like something like really out of our understanding, I guess.
You expressed it so well. I can see so vividly, like, the whole state, like I guess every stage of your journey in this sense. But before we touch on like on the art, I was curious when you said you had this ayahuasca experience, do you remember maybe this like one big realization you had, the next day that you brought out of this experience with yourself?
Yes, I realized that I was the responsible of taking myself to the cliff. I was the responsible of being negative in any kind of, I had to assume responsibility, because it's so easy to go and blame the society. It's so easy to go and blame our parents. It's so, it's like, it's the easy part. And of course, everything is part of the equation. But who the fuck is typing the equation? Ourselves. So that was a like it was a biggest hit. And also the thing that at first was so terrifying, and now I love that, but I realized that my ego and my identity was an illusion. At the end of the day, I created a whole idea of an identity based on the name that I was assigned. I didn't choose to be named Andres. My parents gave me that name. So based on the body that I had when I was born, based on the name, on the religion that I was part of, on this social cultural conditionings, and the country, everything was an agglomeration of things that created my system of beliefs. So knowing that mostly the things that we perceive in the human world is just ideas was like, okay, so everything can change. Yes, like that was so powerful to realize. It took me time. Of course, it was not like, oh yeah, like yeah, ayahuasca told me this. No, it was like, and this is just my perspective. Maybe I'm just schizophrenic, but that's we don't know. Like you can know, but I think that's how that was one of the biggest, like two of the biggest, like hit in the wall. Let's say, like,
That
and
That's very powerful realization, I think. I think, like, to your point, it's very fair that very often we think that we're conditioned to anything, or it's like, as you said, society to blame, the culture to blame. But then at the end of the day, you're like, look, you have this one life on earth, you have your path, do whatever you feel you should, and then see, how it goes for you. And at least you'll be responsible and hold on to your adventure. So talking now about, your fascinating sculptures and the artworks, looking at those, I'm always fascinated how much it looks like as if it's almost were taken from nature. Like you didn't even like the work with stone and everything. It could be easily somewhere in the desert, like in some of this, like snaps that you have on them. So how did that happen? How did you find your medium, like working with stone and natural materials?
I think that my biggest inspiration in the world, not only the piece I create, but the biggest inspiration that I have to go day by day is nature. Literally, like being able to reflect that in any kind of way. In this case, sculptures, collectible design, whatever you name it. Um, it's fascinating. It's like an art. It's like a homage to something that is so beyond like amazing for myself, that it's nature. So that's why there's a really strong connection. But honestly, I don't do it with an intention. It's just automatic. Sometimes I just feel like I'm a channel, like I'm like a bridge. I just feel sometimes that there's something much bigger, like ideas, designs, and everything, and it just feels automatic. I'm just like the pen. I'm not
Wow.
the one who is it, and that's really amazing. Maybe it's my other personalities, like my this personality or there, but it really feels like it.
How about, like, how did you learn even to work with stone? Because I mean, like, from everything, I think it's so challenging and hard, actually hard physical work.
I've been really introspective on why, like why do I feel so fascinated or like so attracted to stone? I there's a story that I will tell you after this, but in my first like perspective, stones make me feel grounded. It made me realize that we humans are moments. We are ephemeral. And stones have been in this universe, in this planet for more than we can understand. So that's really humbling in a way, that understanding that stone is perpetual and we are ephemeral.